Gen X Joe and the youth gone wild. Podcast is making your summer a blast. Lined up for interviews or rock. Legends in the game and new blood trying to make a name. Streaming everywhere. Yeah. And the youth gone wild. Podcast is making your summer a blast. Lined up for interviews or rock. Legends in the game and new blood trying to make a name. Streaming everywhere.
What is going on, my fellow beach bums? Well, wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't jump to conclusions. Maybe you are not at the beach. Maybe you are just on a staycation. That's cool too. But myself, Gen X Joe, I am actually on vacation for the next couple of weeks. And then I have a couple of road trips I need to go on with the family and a few other commitments that I need to be taken care of. Now, before you jump to conclusions, the answer is no. No, I am not going to jail. My youth gone wild side is way in the past. That's why my show is now called the Youth Gone Mild Podcast. And just to reintroduce my podcast, it is the Youth Gone Mild, where hairlines fade, but rock never does. And normally I would be saying I am coming to you from my studio called Wherever I May Roam. However, I am actually coming to you from wherever this summer takes me. And these episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks or month, I am calling them the vacation episodes. They are already pre-produced and going to be streaming throughout the entire month of July and possibly into August. I am still going to be bringing you the best conversations, the best stories, and of course, the best guest in the rock scene today. And hell, I have some legends and I have some new blood that's trying to make a name for themselves. Great interviews all lined up. And before I get to the interview, I just want to thank my sponsor, Lisa Gandia of Celebrity Events. If you are a new artist, an established artist, or even an old head, and you are looking to book shows nationally, Lisa is the person you want to get in touch with. Tell her Gen X Joe sent you, and you can reach out to her on her website at celebrityeventsrock.com. For social media, for myself here at the Youth Gone Mild podcast, we are on all major social media platforms at Youth Gone Mild PC. And as I like to say, the PC does not stand for politically correct. All right, so it's time to kick back, crack open something cold, enjoy that sun, the sand if you're at the beach, and most importantly, the sound of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. I am in vacation mode, and these are the vacation episodes of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Here's today's interview.
Oh, yeah. Check.
Yep,
1, 2.
I can hear you. All right, man.
I'm on my studio mic, so this should be rocking.
Dude, actually, I love the studio you got back there, man.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my, it's the Mojo Vegas 6160, world famous.
Awesome, man. So, hey, I just want to thank you so much for being a part of the Youth Gone Mild podcast, man.
I love it, man. I love the Youth Gone Wild, and I love the Youth Gone Mild, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, well, I was hoping you would like that, man, being a Jersey boy and Skid Row and you guys from out that way.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, man. So, listen, I know we're a little bit short on time, and that's no problem, but I wanted to start out asking you about your newest project, Always Jovi. How did that come about?
Well, Always Jovi, first and foremost. Bon Jovi's always been one of my biggest influences and inspirations. Back in the 80s when their first album came out, you know, I was all about it. The first video, seeing Runaway, that goofy video they made, I still think it's awesome. I always tell John I want those purple pants, man, that you wore in that video. But yeah, I mean, look, they have been Jersey brothers, and again, Pete and I'll never forget, man, when we saw Bon Jovi open for Rat in 1985, and they got their gold records for 7,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Me and Pete were in the crowd that night, and we looked at each other and said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be the next Bon Jovi, and of course, because they were Jersey guys, they were they were heroes to us. And then later on, they became friends. And I think a lot of people know by now that, when we made the first Trickster demo tape back in 1986, we gave a press kit to John Bon Jovi before Slippery When Wet blew up. And he became a believer and a fan. And he was the first legitimate rock star to get behind us and guide us along the way. And he's, been a friend ever since. And so getting into Always Jovi, I'm going to say probably 15 years ago, whatever, when I got the call from Phil Collins to be the fill-in guitar player for Def Leppard. And, and Phil was always a guy who was such a big supporter of, all the things that I do, like post Trickster when I took over as a singer. PJ and I had a couple great bands after Trickster called Throwing Rocks, Soaked, 40-Foot Ringo, a lot of you might remember, and then Stereo Fallout. And Phil was always trying to help me and get record deals and try to put us out on tour with Def Leppard. But he would always be like, Steve, you sound so much like John, like a cross between John and Richie, or like your voice is like John Bon Jovi if he could really, really sing great, I mean, I always thought John sang great, until sadly the last couple years. But it was always in my head. And last 2 years ago, my bandmate in the Wizards of Winter, this Christmas show that I do every year, Greg Smith, the bass player, great bass player, Ted Nugent, Alice Cooper, tons of great bands, Rainbow. Greg plays also in the biggest Journey tribute band around America called Voyage with Robbie Hoffman, who is Extreme's manager. And I was privy to a lot of information about learning about, they were going through a singer change, and hearing about the tribute world that close, and I have friends that are in Get the Let Out and another great band called Magical Mystery Doors. And so it just got in my head, and I was like, you know what, man, I need to try this Bon Jovi idea that I had and that I've had in my head for a long time, because I have this ability to sound just like John back in the day. And so I put a band together. My friends, Fred, Devin, Kevin, Joey Casada, who's kind of in hiatus right now because he just got the Twisted Sister gig. And we have a new kid playing drums, Frankie D'Esposito, and Chris McCoy on keyboards. I put this band together. I booked a rehearsal for, coincidentally, which was Ace Frehley's 74th birthday last year, April 27th. And I put together a set list, 10 tunes and some hard tunes, not just the hits and the easy ones, but I put in Always, hence the name of the band, Always Jovi, and Bed of Roses. And we did this rehearsal, and I kid you not, dude, we went through the whole 10, 12 songs like we'd been playing together for a year. And I looked at everybody, we looked at each other and went, we got something really special there. And the band, and Fred and Devin especially were like, my God, guy, Steve, you sound so much like John. It's crazy. And we knew we had something special. And then we were off to the races. And here we are over a year later, Always Jovi. We've done, 3 shows right now, 3 phenomenal, successful shows. And I couldn't be happier where we are. And the fan response to it has been pretty overwhelming, to say the least.
Well, you answered my next question about the fans' response. So, how
Yeah.
has Bon Jovi or members of the band, how have they been towards it? I'm sure it's all positive.
I would think. I mean, I haven't really heard anything funny enough. Right before I launched the band, and you could see the videos online. About a week before I announced Always Jovi, I jammed with Dave Bryan down in Nashville. We did a gig with our friends, the Hippies and Cowboys, and we played 3 Bon Jovi songs. I sang "Wanted Dead or Alive" with Dave, and then I did "Bad Medicine" and "You Give Love a Bad Name." And Dave was like, "Oh man, you sound great, blah blah." And I said, "Hey man, I just want you to know, like any day, I'm announcing my Bon Jovi tribute." And he kind of looked at me, and I said, "Man, it's all love, you know." Said, "You guys have been such a huge influence on me, and it's we're not doing wigs and we're not doing an impressions band. It's me singing and doing what I just did." And he was like, "Oh cool, man." But honestly, I don't know if John's seen it, heard it. I'm kind of thinking he did. I've reached out to him a couple times and sent him some, sent him some best of luck notes with the new shows coming up. And of course, you've seen that I've offered my assistance to maybe help him with his voice. And so that's it. He's busy though, and I'm getting good reports from rehearsals. A couple of my friends work for the band, and I'm hearing really positive things about John's voice, that it's coming back. So I mean, I think we're all pulling for him, and I can't wait to see. I hope he tears the house down at Madison Square Garden in July.
Like you said, man, I'm hoping the
Yeah, of
best for him.
course.
Now,
That's why I'm spraying my voice now. But again, man, I had vocal surgery about 16 years ago, so I know all about it. And for me, it was like the greatest thing that ever happened in my voice, because it cleared out stuff that I think was there since I was a kid. Because I'm able to do things with my voice now that I was never able to do even back in the Trickster days. So I think my sort of experience with it, and that's all I'm trying to do. And I do that with anybody that I know that's having vocal problems. I always offer my help.
well, I'm glad, man, because it's good to see other musicians helping each other. I know there's a lot out there that like to put
For
other
sure.
ones down and everything, and it's really good to be
Yeah.
supportive. And
Yeah, man, I don't want to see anybody going through that. I know what that's like mentally when you have to go on stage and you know that your voice is messed up and that you're not probably going to be that good. That is a hard, hard thing to do. And I've dealt with it. I dealt with it for, a good year before I finally was able to get my surgery. And it was so hard. But what do they say? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So
oh,
I'm stronger because of it.
awesome, man. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit too about working with Ace in the last couple of years, man.
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite member of Kiss ever. What was it like with Ace? And I'm sure, just like all of us, shocked at what happened when he passed away.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ace was one of the reasons that I started playing guitar in 1978. It was Ace and Eddie Van Halen. And so fast forward to meeting him, I met him for the first time coincidentally backstage at a Bon Jovi show in 1988 when 88 or 8, no, it was 89, maybe 88 or 89, when Skid Row opened for Bon Jovi at the Meadowlands Arena on the New Jersey tour. Ace came and jammed with Skid Row, and that was the first time I met him. So I'd known Ace for a long time, and of course through Eddie Trunk, spent some cool times in during the '90s and stuff. But in 2023 or 2022, my other band, Tokyo Motor Fist, we got invited to open up like 3 shows for Ace and his band. His first shows coming back after like COVID. And we just hit it off again, telling jokes and whatnot. And a lot of people in his camp, his girlfriend Lara at the time, Lara Cove, who's somebody we grew up with here in New Jersey, PJ and myself, and a couple of his crew guys were like, "You and Ace need to write songs together. He's got to make a new record. You and him would be the perfect team." So I came up with a couple ideas, some of the songs that wound up on the record, and I sent him some MP3s. And a couple months later, sure enough, he called me, and he called me, "Steve, I love this stuff. When can you come over?" And I went up to his house, and we wrote the first song we worked on and finished was "Walking on the Moon." And immediately the chemistry, the energy, the attitude. We were both energized working together, and it was like I said, the chemistry from day one was undeniable. And we basically finished that song the first day. I made a really good rough mix of it, and we sent it to Ace's camp. His management people, his lawyers, and his record company. More importantly, and they were all like, "Yes, this is great." And it was, I mean, I had to, of course, dude. I was sitting there pinching myself, going, "I can't believe I'm writing songs and producing vocals and playing guitar with Ace Frehley." And the thing about Ace is, I don't know if you ever met him, but he was just one of the nicest guys. A lot like Eddie Van Halen. These guys that are these iconic rock stars. When you get past the BS and the gatekeepers, and you guys get in a room together, we're all the same. We're musicians and we're just having fun. My friendship with Eddie Van Halen started back in 1991. And we started out, it wasn't about, man, I didn't go up to him, "Hey, man, so great to meet you. Can you teach me how to play, I'm the one?" It had nothing to do with music. We started telling dirty, funny jokes to each other. And we bonded over comedy and drinking beer, So, and like Ace, working with him, we just had fun and we connected as people, as much as we did making music together. So, all I can say, it was, and I'll say it till the day I pass, is that it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It was everything you can imagine and more. It was fun. It was musical. It was chaotic. It was scary at times because you never knew what was going to happen. But that's, I knew when I signed on to work with Ace that we were going to be in for a rocket ride, a ride, if you will. And it was all that. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is, and this is what Ace wanted that first day, he said to me, he said in his voice, when he says, "Steve, all I want is I want every song on the record to be great." And we looked at each other, made a promise to each other that that's what we're going to do. And a year and a half later, February 2024, the 10,000 Volts record was released. And happy to say that the response with the Kiss fan base and the Ace fan base was just incredible all around the world. It was, everybody loved the record. And I'm sad to say that, that's his last recorded, all original record that we're ever going to hear. But it was kind of eerie to think about that. Right when the record was released, I was at his house, and it was just me and him sitting in the kitchen. And he looked at me, he said, "Steve, we did it, man." And I go, "Hey, bro, I want to tell you, I want to thank you first and foremost for having me for this ride to make this record with you." And I said, "Listen, whatever happens, if we never make another, or you never make another record again, this is the perfect bookend for your career, starting with the 78 solo record and 10,000 Volts." And sadly, that is the truth. But, again, and more importantly, and I've said this a lot, forget the music and everything. I just miss my friend, like a lot of us do. We miss our friend. And I think for all the fans out there who Ace was the legend and the icon that he was, we all miss Space Ace Frehley, and it's a tough loss. But my daughter said it so well when Ace passed away. She said, "Dad, legends never die," and that's the truth. So thank God we have the music and all these great memories of Ace. And for me, one of my heroes. I lost a part of my heart when he passed away, and a part of my soul, because he was such a big influence, like when Ed Van Halen passed. But I have just all these incredible memories that'll stay with me for the rest of my life.
And from a fan's perspective too, with Ace and Ozzy and Eddie as well, man, I don't know how to put it into the right words. I've never met either or all three of them, but
Yeah.
I still feel like they were a part of my life growing up, and I lost. I don't want to say a friend, but I lost a piece of that.
Sure. I mean, that's the way it is. And I'm bummed, I never did get to meet Ozzy, and I've known Zach for a long time, and he was always such a hero, and it was always that thing, man. Hopefully, come on, we're gonna get backstage to meet Ozzy, but it just never happened. But yeah, I mean that's what happens. I mean, I still remember when I was a little kid, getting the daily news when Elvis died.
Yeah.
And I remember that was the first time that I remembered like seeing the look on my parents' face, that daily news. And we were on vacation down at the Jersey Shore. And it's still to this day, I remember it like yesterday. My mother was crying, oh my God, I can't believe Elvis was dead. And again, I remember also reading in the paper, the Daily News again, when Randy Rhoads was killed. So I think that's, these, and that's the power of music, dude, is that these artists and their music become a part of us. And especially growing up, like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 55. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, that was our life, man. Music and the bands and learning about it, and we were so entrenched. And especially like Kiss and Van Halen for me, it's a part of my DNA. It's in my blood.
Yeah, and I'm 52, and what you just said
Yeah,
about Elvis, I just had a very similar conversation with Mark Kendall of Great White. We were talking about him, and I remember where I was and the look on my mom's face when he passed away, because
yeah,
to her, Elvis was, her idol, her dream guy, whatever you want to call it. And
yeah.
when she was sad, then that made me sad. Now, I can't say I was a major Elvis fan, but that was like my first taste of someone's hero passing away.
Yeah. It's true, man, and I, again for me, Elvis. I remember watching the Elvis Aloha from Hawaii with my parents, and I was 3 years old, and that was my first feeling of like, wow, I love rock and roll because I love that music, and that guy is extra special. He's extraordinary. He's not normal because I saw the reaction my mother had watching him, and I knew that. And a couple years later, of course, I got bitten by, the Kiss and Van Halen bug in 1978. But yeah, that's really what it is. So, again, man, the good news is that no matter what, we have the music, and thanks to video shows like yourself and YouTube, that these legends, their legacies will never die.
Yeah, and you mentioned your daughter, and I pass a lot of that music on to my kids as well, man. And I say this all the
Good
time.
dad.
Thanks. And I say this all the time. Both of my boys, I don't know what it is, but both of them love Alice Cooper. They are huge
Ah,
fans.
of course.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's another guy I still haven't met yet. I've opened for him a couple times, but I still haven't met him face to face. I'm friends with the guys in the band. I tell Tommy, dude, you got to bring me in to meet Alice. I know I had dinner with Shep Gordon in Maui a couple years ago. I'm like, I have never personally met Alice. We have so many connected friends. Alice is tight with the Def Leppard guys, but again, that's another one. And thank God Alice is still alive. Let's make that clear. But yeah,
Yes.
it's important. Like I tell everybody, I tell like young fans, never be too sort of proud or scared to go up to a famous person and say hello, because you might never ever get that chance again.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And, the closest I've ever got to meeting Alice Cooper was through Nita Strauss. Just
Yeah.
by chance, me and my oldest boy, went to see Alice around here locally, and we couldn't find a place to park, and someone snuck us into where they park their buses. Never even crossed our minds that we were going to be able to meet anyone. Just walk into our cars, and there's Nita, and boom, she started talking to us. It was so awesome,
Right.
you know.
Hey, Nita's great, and there are good people in the world like that. So, yeah, but hopefully you do get to meet him, and hopefully you get to meet a bunch more rock stars.
Absolutely. And I know we're getting short on time here, but I have to ask you
No,
this
we're
question. Oh,
good. We're good.
cool, cool. Well, I'll still ask you this question anyway. how come you have not put your name in the hat or video out there to try out to be the lead singer of Skid Row?
Oh man. Well, and Snake and Rachel and Scotty are dear friends of mine. John Bon Jovi was the guy who introduced me to those guys, and they became like big brothers to us and helped us out tremendously. My voice is not right for Skid Row. My voice a little too dirty. I got the Def Leppard Bon Jovi sound, that edgy, the angel smile is what you sell, but it's not the I remember you. I mean, I could fake my way through it, but it wouldn't be. There's definitely people out there who are a lot more, their voices are a lot better suited to sing Skid Row than me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it wasn't too bad right there, man. Gave me chills.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, well, if they ever needed help in a pinch, I would certainly be there because they're my brothers, and that's what we do. We help each other out. But I rumor has it they're close. They have a couple good guys that they're looking at. I think they have one that they're really solid on, but we'll see.
Man, hopefully, man. I miss those guys, man. They always put
I
on a
know,
great
me
show
too.
with or without Sebastian.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So, what is on the horizon for Trickster?
Well, we, as always, PJ and I are waving the Trickster flag loud and proud, and we're back at it. It's a little bit of a weird year. We thought we'd have some more gigs by now, but it's been slow. It's with the recession and the economy the way it is, it's been a little bit of an off year for a lot of artists and bands. There's that thing going around through the like social media, blue dot fever.
Yeah.
A lot of big tours not selling tickets. And I think it has to do with the gas prices and people coming out and but yeah, we're always PJ and I and Ben Hands, we're out doing the Trickster thing, and we're still slowly at a snail's pace getting the new Trickster album finished. And I mean, again, I've talked about it numerous times in various interviews, and the stuff is incredible. I'm so proud of it, and I can't wait for people to hear it. Excited, but again, man, 24 hours a day is not enough for somebody like me for all the different things that I have going on. And so just be patient. And PJ and I we're working slowly on this documentary, the One in a Million documentary, which is a documentary about the story of our lives together in Trickster, but also outside of it. Musician journeymen that PJ and I are, and that we play in separate bands, whether it's PJ with Fozzy or back in the day when he was with Leader Ford, me with Def Leppard or Dennis D. Young, but always coming back to where it all started, which is Trickster. And after playing together now for 38 years.
That's awesome, man. It doesn't even seem like that long.
Oh, man. I keep telling everybody I'm still 25, so how can that be?
Right? Yeah, I like to believe that too myself, but my body and my wife keep reminding me otherwise. So
yeah, there you go.
So
well, that's it for me. Thank God for hair dye.
Oh well, at least you got hair. This is why I wear a ball cap all the time. So
yeah,
I just wanted to say thank you for continuing to wave the Trickster flag. No disrespect to Pete whatsoever. It's as if Trickster did not miss a beat at all.
I like to think that. Look, man, we had two great runs together. And, as we get older, it gets harder and harder for some people to jump on a plane or get in a car and drive across the country or fly to, Italy or fly around the world or fly to Guam like PJ and I did last year to play shows. PJ and I, we love this more than anything in the world. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA to travel, to play music, to make music. For other people, that's not their true passion in life. So you have to respect that. But what I will say is Pete and I and PJ and even the drummer, we made great music together, and we had some of the greatest times of our lives together. That will never, ever be forgotten or lost on me. So, let's do that. But PJ and I are certainly definitely the new version of Trickster. I think when anybody comes and sees us, you'll be like, wow, I'm not missing anything, because we pretty much sound as good, if not better, than we did back in the day.
Yeah, man, 100%. And, there are a lot of great bands that came out of Jersey and that Philadelphia area. And I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
if you've heard of this band or not, in Fire and Ice. Have you been familiar with that band?
I can't say that I have. I mean, I think I've heard the name somewhere, but you'll have to text me over a link. I'd love to check them out. I'm a big supporter of new original bands and helping people out. I have a kid in Jersey, this kid Kobe Reese, that I've been
Yes.
producing his records. There's a band Jailer that opened for us a bunch of times. Ben Cody Band, Gavin Evick. These young rock and rollers that are sort of carrying the torch for us old guys.
Yeah, man. So listen, again, I just want to thank you so much for being a guest here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast. It's an honor, dude. Grew up listening to you guys, and
Thank you, man. Well, that's what it's all about. And for everybody out there in internet world, thank you as always for your never-ending support. And we will see you out on the road. Always Jovi, Trickster, and whatever else I'm doing. But thank you again for all the support. I couldn't do it without you. See you, pal.
bye-bye.
All right. Just because this episode is over does not mean summer is over yet. Oh, hell no. We still got 2 full months of summer left, but not quite 2 full months of pre-produced Youth Gone Mild podcast. I should be back second week of August with all brand new openings and closings. But until then, you're kind of stuck with what you got. And I do apologize for that. But like I said, we have a family vacation coming up, a few road trips, and other commitments that I need to be taken care of. I hope everybody understands. I'd just like to thank my guest here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast today, all of my listeners, and my sponsor, Celebrity Events by Lisa Gandia. And don't forget, if you like what you hear, go to my social media pages at Youth Gone Mild PC. Give it a like, give it a follow, leave a comment. And if you're looking for the next episode date of the Youth Gone Mild podcast to resurface, then just follow us on all our social media platforms. And don't forget, we are also out there on all major streaming networks. And give us a like and a follow there as well. All right, this is Gen X Joe telling you to rock loud, live proud. Peace out. Props everyone for listening to the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade, but rock never does.
Gen X Joe and